now see it and know it, and things have changed. How you doing? You doing okay, Dr. V?
Doing fine. Another boring week.
Yeah,
Nothing
very. We
happened.
love boring.
Nothing
We love
happened this
boring.
week.
He is just jamming everything through, jamming everything right in there through. And the first thing we want to hit here is I know everybody wants to talk about Zelensky and the Oval Office and all that. And yeah, we're going to jump into it. So hang in for a couple of minutes here. But we want to hit first is one thing that's leading to the other. Thumbs up, we love you already. One thing that's leading to the other really is going to be the most important issue is the economy. What is going on in foreign policy is adversely affecting the economy, and it's all going to be coming in. It all revolves around how it appears that President Trump is really smashing the American economy. Spartacus, we love you. We do. And so that's where we are with this. I mean, look what's going on. Inflation's still going up. Costs of it, just go out and try to buy another one. You go out and try to buy anything. Costs are going up.
Well, the
You
price of
see,
gas is flat. The price of gas is not going up much.
but I didn't say gas
Okay.
because gas, we have been flooding the market with so much gas. First, we released it all from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve years ago. That's what President Biden did. And everybody said it wasn't going to work. And if you looked at the numbers, it all started, when it hit peaks, it all started coming down after he took it out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And since then, we've been pumping like crazy in this country, pumping stuff out there. Europe has become less dependent on Russia, and things are basically under control. You're not going to see the oil and gas prices maybe go down a little bit more, but the Saudis don't want it to go down anymore because they need money. They'll be saying that to Trump. So they'll support, they won't put it out. Others won't. You'll have OPEC. It just won't be that easy. And at the same time, you're asking everybody to drill. So, Joe, I love you. I love everybody with the oil and gas. Look at the numbers. It's Biden who brought it down. And that's where it's been going from there. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is. But everything else is pretty much on an upward skiing, while at the same time, unemployment is going to be going up. And yeah, it's just federal workers, right? I love hearing it. It's just federal workers, okay? It's your neighbor. It's your friend. It's going to be people you see down the street who aren't going to be going to a store that maybe you work at to buy things because they don't have the money to buy it anymore. And because they've been told that not only are they fired, but they did a horrible job. Probably they did a horrible performance and they've been put out in the street. And you're going to start seeing, as we start moving forward with all this being split up in America, we don't see up top what's going on and how they are going to be siphoning this off. Because the thing to remember is we're going to be fighting this inflation and the economy starts getting whacked is that the Republicans Trump is trying to raise the debt limit $4 trillion. $4 trillion. They're trying to get away with accounting stuff so you don't hear it. But think about it. We're paying more in inflation. We're being forced to have people have less jobs. And now we're going to have Trump and the government try to raise the debt limit $4 trillion. And where's that money going to go? It's going to go to the big boys. And we got to see where this is all going. So now look at Zelensky and Ukraine. The big boys go, where am I going to get my money? How can we get things to be able to make up for all this trillions of dollars that we want to borrow? We extort those that we used to think were our friends. And we say, hey, you give us all your rare elements and you give us all your minerals, and maybe we'll say, yeah, you're a buddy. Come on by for lunch sometime. Look, let's understand what happened with Trump and Zelensky. Zelensky, the way I look at business is this. Sometimes you got to take it. Sometimes you got to kiss some butt. When you're out hustling business, you kiss butt. Zelensky was right in everything he said. but he didn't kiss butt. And sometimes you got to take your pride when you want somebody to give you business. To me, it's just business. You got to see how Trump works. It isn't that hard. You kiss his butt some, you say, thanks. Not a bad deal. We can get this thing worked out. I'm looking forward to lunch and let's rock and roll. And that's really all he had to do. But he didn't. Okay, I can understand. He was attacked. Vance, Mr. Yale, who's like thinks he's so tough because he grew a beard and nobody cares about him. He's like in the background in the administration. So when Trump's going one more question and things look pretty good, Vance jumps in and goes, hey, I want thanks. Like they didn't do thanks. So you see it, but where then Zelensky goes on Bret Baier that night. And Bret Baier, who's a real supporter of Ukraine and Zelensky. I get mad at Bret Baier on Fox. And I don't think he's always as fair and balanced as they said. See, people don't care as much. I'm not always as fair and balanced as they said. Toto, we've always been home. How haven't we left home? We haven't left home. We're home. And others were willing to protect our defense. What am I saying? Jeremiah, he wasn't ready to cry. He turned around and made a mistake. But his mistake was he's no actor. The actor it's our president who said, isn't this great for TV, Toto? This kills things. Come on, Guillermo. This kills things. Okay. So you look at this and you go, okay, you go on Bret Baier on Fox News. Not all, I think he's the best of all of them there. And he really gave him 3 chances to say, okay, maybe I was a schmo. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't act that way, but I'm defending my country who is losing all these people who are fighting to stop Russia. We're on your side. We're together. He didn't do that, folks. He didn't do that. And that's really, you're talking a transactional president. You're talking a transaction. Thanks for the heart. Thanks for the thumbs up. We love you.
A narcissist.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
It's 100% matters. All he had to do was say,
no, it does matter. Right.
You know what? All he had to do was say, you know what? Obama didn't support me during the Crimean War, but when you came in, you supported me. You gave me those cruise missiles. And that changed everything, changed the whole trajectory of the war. Thank you so much for doing that. And I know you support Ukraine. You've always supported Ukraine.
Right.
And you support our right to exist peacefully because I know you want peace.
He just should have kissed butt, and he wouldn't do it. And then sometimes you got to step on your pride, and sometimes you got to walk away and just say it's more important because I represent these people who are dying. And if my pride gets stepped on too bad, all that matters is these people.
That's what the other governments have figured out.
As great as a leader as he's been, that's why I said when he went on to Bret Baier, he could have just said it at that point. I'm just under so much pressure. Of course, he's been a great president. Of course, I love him. Of course, thank you. That's all he had to do, basically. And he didn't do it there on Bret Baier either. So and Bret Baier is really a supporter. So I think he really hurt himself there. And that's the bummer because understand what's going on. Let's break away. Trump made it clear. He loves Russia. He loves Putin. Goodbye, the West. We are now a total transactional society. You heard him. Oh, Vlad went through it like I did with the Russian hoax. Hold on, guys. There were 2 issues on the Russian thing. Number one, the Russians did come into our elections. The Russians did try to affect our elections, and the Republican-led Senate committee found that. The issue was the Trump campaign involved, okay? That was the Mueller report. You can read the Mueller report anywhere you want. That's a different issue. The fact is that Putin and Russia got heavily involved in our elections as found by the Republican-led Senate committee. I mean, there was no question about it, okay? So you see that going on. He pushes people out the window. He likes to blow things up. This is the guy who came in and has stolen 40, up to 40,000 kids, I'm not sure the number, from Ukraine, stole them and put them into Russia. And Trump likes this guy or finds some type of commonality with him. It just makes no sense. But it
Well,
doesn't matter anymore because, as I put the title here, Joe, sorry. I'm sick about this. The end of the American century. I'm sick about it. We're up there on Just American Citizens. It's been up there for years. Joe's been seeing it. We've been calling this. It's over. I did not expect to see, though. We talked about the breakup of the world. I just didn't see the president of the United States breaking off from our friends. Because now what has happened is, strong young man, you should go fight. Let me tell you something, Jeremiah. You weren't around during Vietnam. I don't know what you did. Maybe you fought. And the bottom line is we're not paying anybody. It was $100 million you've got. That's how much has been given over the years. $100 million. Okay. And it ain't yesterday's vibe, Toto. It's the truth. What, he's suddenly a great guy, Putin? He'd push you out the window if he didn't like what you said. He'd poison you. What are we talking about here? Who are you kidding? But that's the problem, because now America has no friends. I hear the word allies. We don't have allies. Did you see that we are sending troops, 3,000 troops, to the border in Mexico? Now, think about this. We've been talking, not me, we've been talking about it, Joe and I, about, come on, that'd be like an invasion if you go after the criminal organizations there, or you start bombing them. And remember, would that be like Putin like? Wouldn't that just be like Putin? And look what's happening here with Trump. Have you all ever seen 1938? Toto, the Nazis, they're going. Toto, remember, the vice president went to Germany and talked to the Nazi party because he loved them. He tried to get more people to vote for him. He and Elon Musk, Toto. That's the game. Okay, our vice president, Trump, loves this stuff. Luckily, the Germans turned on him and said, you ain't going to tell us how to vote. Here it is. Think about it, Joe. The Russians were getting after our vote, and we're getting mad about it, but we go to Germany, and we have the vice president of the United States say, I'm going to get involved in your vote. Isn't that great? This is just wow. Just wow. You just look at this. But do we have any allies any longer? I talked about the split up, but when I talked about the split up on Just an American Citizen, please subscribe. Also look at Dr. V. Joe Talks. But I've been years on Just an American Citizen. Please see him there. I assume that at least we keep our Western alliance. The problem now is we have no alliance. We have no friends. Those of you who come in here and go, hey, we're going to be doing simple, you may be correct. Do we need allies? Call them friends. Pat, we're talking the way it is. Do you want to have a friend? If you're in trouble, I'll let you come jumping on this. I'm trying to come into the comments here.
Sure.
Don't look at it as it's friends. Do you want a friend? If you're ever down, do you want to be able to call a friend and have your friend back you up? That's what friendships are for. We had 70, 80 years of friendships here, okay, in the world. Thrown out the door. And if we do attack Mexico or some of the gangs, you don't think that they're not going to take drones and come back over America and try to hit places in Arizona and Texas? Is that what we're going to start? That's because that's what's going to happen, guys. Thanks, Marcus. You're right. That's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, you may be right. BRICS may be the future, Zubair. Do I think for economy? Oh, of course I think that, Jeremiah. Understand something. I love this. Joe, and I'm going to let Joe come. I love that question. We got to get to Jeremiah, Joe.
Go ahead. Yeah.
When Trump wasn't president, he got all the credit for getting the hostages out, so some of those hostages out of Israel and making the final deal, right? I mean, out of Gaza and making the final deal. He wasn't president, but they said it was because of Trump. It was because of Trump. But now when he's president and things are going badly, Jeremiah, it isn't because of Trump. That's the bottom line here, okay? He came in and he has taken a grenade and has thrown it at the economy. and it's blowing it up and blowing up inflation. The economy was okay, and the Fed was kind of under control on inflation, but now we're coming in tariffs, 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 and as soon as you say it, they raise the prices. And look out there, TVs, all this stuff's going up. People are nervous, and then you take jobs from people. You take jobs from people, and you're going to say this is good. Look, Jeremiah, I respect you, and I'm very happy you're a part of our community. Come in every week, and thank you very much. But this is a real problem. You got to look at this. This is just killing our economy, and it's just started. Because the best part's going to be my last point on Dr. V, and then jump in. There is so much, there's so many loans out there that you and I don't know about. In the old days, when Dr. V and I were young, you had to go to a bank to get a loan. Now you go to all these pools of money all around the world, all around America, billions, billions, maybe even trillions, I assume. I don't know. When things start cracking a bit, remember, it was all doing great during the economy because they were built during the economy. But people are now securitizing. That means putting up their stuff, putting up their albums and getting a loan on it, as an example. That's securitizing. And that loan gets sold to others. But I mean, nobody's going to do it with albums. But the bottom line is we're there. So if this all starts happening, you can have an unraveling where you have losses that you've never seen in the economy. This happened in 2000. What was it? 2006. I'm sorry, 2000. 16. What was it, Dr. V? No, it wasn't. It was 2006, 2008 when the banks collapsed. 2009.
2008.
This is how
2008. Yeah.
2009. This is how it all started coming together, and we've got that issue here. And if people don't think so, you're making a big mistake because there are going to be no allies. Nobody's going to trade with us. Go, Dr. V.
Well, you make a lot of good points, but I think to really understand what's going on, I think it's important that you understand Trump's psychology a little bit and behavior. And the guy is a narcissist. Everyone knows that. Uh, Otto Kronberg once said that a narcissist is someone who gets upset if his partner has a better orgasm than he does. And this guy, that's what he likes, the attention. He's addicted to attention. He gets a dopamine hit every time somebody says that they like him. And for a narcissist, the more powerful the person is who gives him attention, the more of a dopamine hit he gets. You have to understand that principle. And so when someone like Putin comes in and gives him a compliment, that gives him a tremendous dopamine hit, and he wants more of that. Now, most of the politicians in the world understand this, and Putin especially understands this because he made a living in the Russian CIA, learn
KGB, KGB.
AGS, in which they understand about psychological warfare, and they understand about understanding the psychology of your enemy, so you can exploit that. And he does an absolute masterful job of exploiting that. The other countries understand this too. China understands it, but even our quote allies in Europe understand this. So when they go visit him, they puff him up a little bit, they kiss his rear end, and then Trump, after listening to that, then says, "Well, what do you want? I'm happy to negotiate with you." Trump negotiates not based on America's needs, but on his personal needs of who's going to make him feel good. And that's what happened this week. And it's important to understand that even Vance understands this about the guy, and so he knew how to get Trump riled up. Now the question is, why does Vance want to get Trump riled up? What's in it for him?
We we talked about it.
And I suspect because he was feeling a little bit overshadowed by Musk, and so it's
Needs
all
the
this kind of
attention.
psychological stuff that's
Mhm.
going on. Now we can wonder what are the consequences of having a president who's a narcissist, who's mentally ill in the White House, and how people can exploit that. And some of the consequences include things like other countries are going to take advantage of us. And you can see that Russia is doing that right now. Uh, Zelensky doesn't understand that principle apparently well enough, and so he may get short end of the stick. But on the other hand, some people exploit it in a different way. And I look at what's happening in Canada right now. They're having elections. And before Trump started making all this noise about annexing Canada, the Trump like Republican in Canada was winning. They called him Maple Syrup Trump or whatever, Maple Syrup MAGA. That was his nickname. And he was doing great in the polls. But by Trump going in there and saying he wants to annex Canada, his popularity has plummeted and the popularity of the opposing party has gone up. And so what Trump does is he creates nationalism in other countries so that they are looking forward to, putting it to America. Now, we need countries, we need allies, not just because it's morally correct, but because it's financially correct. And this is what I think you're getting at with the finances. What do you think we do with our goods? We sell them to other countries. And if you upset enough other countries, we're not going to be able to sell our goods. So what happens if you can't sell our goods? The businesses are not going to do as well. They're not going to need as many employees. So unemployment starts to go up. And then as the debt increases, as it becomes more expensive to import other goods because of tariffs, our inflation goes up. And you said this a while ago that you have a situation where unemployment is going up and prices are going up, and you have stagflation. We've lived through this.
Or
We've
recession,
seen this
or
before.
recession, or
We've seen
recession.
this movie
We
before,
sure have.
and
We
that's
sure
why
have.
I think you're pointing out what's possible, what could happen. I think the question for us is, what can we do to help prevent that? And I would maintain that uh, showing people what could happen and what is happening, so that people can be aware and then speak up. Because again, what does Trump's need? He needs attention, and if he can get attention for doing the right things, that's what he's going to do. There's no moral compass there. The compass is what's going to give him the biggest dopamine hit. And so we need to figure out a way of giving him that dopamine hit to do the right things. Now, I'm
Can't
not sure
work it.
how.
Can't free. I love you. I lost you there. That's
Yeah.
not what he's into. He's into dopamine hits, but from his people and not from people on the outside. He's going to call it all fake, and he figures everything anybody else tells him is BS because he's set in his ways. He's 180 years old. But let me tell you this. I mean, as a joke, he's an old man. But I'll tell you this. I don't, even though Joe knows his stuff, I don't think Joe meant to say that he was mentally ill when he said it. I think what Joe meant to say was he's getting older. He just says things off the cuff and was just blowing with it. And sometimes when you're narcissistic and you're just blowing with it, you just blowing, and you know what that is. So it's like I think I think that's what he was trying to say. But as we go back, okay, okay.
Well, just say he
Uh-huh,
has
that's
something in
it.
the DSM-5 that's diagnosable. I don't
Don't
care if you want to
don't
say it's
don't.
not a mental disorder,
It
that's
doesn't
fine. But it
matter.
says if you
Don't.
get the DSM-5 book. Okay.
Stop it.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Never mind. Never mind what I said then.
Never
My
mind. Was
lawyer
that
tells me shut up.
Rosanna Dana? Who was that? Never mind.
My lawyer says shut up.
We're
All right.
PBs. I don't
Okay.
want to
All
see
right.
you
Never
out a
mind. Never
window.
mind.
I
Never
don't want to
mind.
see you out a window. I worry about you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. We're back. Sorry. The Bob, you see, ignore what he was saying. No, Jeremiah, we're not out of touch. And all you guys, I know Jeremiah, say Jeremiah, I'm now starting to look at some of these questions. America, except you're not living in another alternate universe. We lived through a whole way of an American century. Look at my stuff on Just an American Citizen. You'll see we were talking about this years ago. People, when you just get comfortable and you get used to the world and things are feeling good, people just go, hey, things are good. And then somebody comes in and then they go, but it ain't that good. I'm this, I'm that, I'm getting irritated. I got to do this, I got to do that. And then this comes in. And it isn't just a matter of shaking. It ain't a whole lot of shaking going on. We got a real issue going on here. And that issue is we're going to have major unemployment because if you look around, guys, gender neutral. If you look around, guys, it isn't just the federal government that's laying people off. It's corporations that are laying people off. and other companies that are laying people off because it's easy to do when it starts, when everybody wants employees, they just fight for them. I want them. And it's like a momentum thing. It just goes and goes and goes. This ain't a matter of being old. This may be a matter of being old, Jordan. I kind of do, Jeremiah. We have family, young children, grandchildren. We do. So, making a tax doesn't work. I'm telling you what we see, what we live through, and that's just the way it is. And that's fact. And you can take it or not take it and run with it, but we're seeing it. The difference is we're willing to come here and say to our community, who we really likes, thank you very much, Zubair, what we think honestly. And you can come back to us if we're wrong later and say, Dr. V, you blew it. Or me, Mark, Mark, you're in trouble. Where were you? You were an old guy. Yeah, I'm an old guy, but we're right about this. And when you see this starting to come down, it just starts, the economy, it just becomes this just roll, just like we were on this roll of interest rates coming down for 40 some years. It stopped, just like we had a roll of inflation coming down for 40 some years. It stopped. Things change, cycles go. Being old kind of helps you see that, okay? And we're seeing it. And that's where we are. We're in a different cycle. We've hit the bottom of the trampoline and it was coming up on its own. Look at Just American Citizen. I was saying this on videos and shorts. Joe, we've been talking about here on our live stream. It's just becomes a momentum thing. And it just question is, can you control that momentum? And that's what the Fed was trying to do. And I think was kind of getting inflation it wasn't under control, but kind of stable in the threes, trying to do it. So now you come in and you go, tariffs, and everybody suddenly goes out. Look at prices of TVs from a few months ago and now. They're up. All this stuff is up. Eggs, it's not just eggs, it's everything. Eggs is symbolic. If food's still outrageous in the stores, go to a restaurant. Not for the billionaires. Not for the billionaires, but for us. And that's where we're talking here. So I don't care if you're MAGA or not. If you're MAGA, it's because you were bummed about the way things are going. And I'm saying to you, MAGA guys, you ain't going to like the way things are going now because we've lost all of our friends. We have no friends. Nobody can ever trust us again. Nobody except Vladimir Putin. He can trust Trump. I mean, this is reality. I'm not fighting it. You got to accept reality. He can trust Trump to do whatever it takes to help him out. That's the bottom line. But we have no other friends. Everybody else has to, as Joe says, come in and kiss his butt because they call him a narcissist. Fine. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. All I know is he only cares about himself. And we're sitting here and we've lost the entire Atlantic Alliance. This is what's going to be interesting. In a year or two, I want to see how vacationers are treated in Europe. And I want to see American vacationers. And I want to see how American vacationers are going to be treated in other parts. We have foreigners who come in here and talk with us, and we love them. I have a feeling they ain't going to be too happy. And I want to see how fast we're going to be going out. There was a book we did, or talking about it now, but when we were growing up, it was a book and a movie called The Ugly American. Maybe we should watch it now. It's a little bit different than what it was then, but that's what it's becoming. We're going to become the ugly American. And nobody trusts the gringo for good reason, for real good reason. 70 some years of friendship, of economic openness and trading and money. The American dollar is supreme. And we're throwing it out the door. That's what Donald Trump is doing. I'm not after him for any other reason except I'm an American. Joe's an American. And this is where we think it's going because we are accepting that he's going to push this thing as far as he possibly can. Go, Joe.
Yeah, I'm seeing some comments about people saying we need to take money away from Ukraine to give it to poor people in the United States. And I want to be perfectly clear that I'm all in favor of helping Americans, particularly poor Americans. My sense is that any money that they save in Ukraine is not going to go to help the poor Americans that we have. It's going to help the rich billionaires. And why do I say that? Because if you look at the budget that the Republicans just passed in Congress, what it does is it preserves these tax cuts that save trillions of dollars for rich people. People make a lot of money. And it's not a balanced budget. It's $4 trillion in debt. and they want to increase the debt ceiling. And
Additional.
and where are they going to get the money? If you look at the areas that they want to cut are things like Medicare, Medicaid. What's Medicaid? Medicaid is support for poor people. So they're trying to cut money going to poor people and give it to rich people. Now,
And poor
I don't
children.
think
And
that's what people
children.
voted for. I don't think
Right.
that's what people voted for. And you know, and I think people just need to be aware and awake to what the facts are. And if you have other facts, please share them because I don't always get the facts right, and I'm always happy to learn new set of facts. But what I see is Congress passes a bill that benefits the billionaires, that benefits rich people, and they're looking at making cuts to programs that help poor people. And so saving money in Ukraine, saving money by firing federal employees is not to help poor people. If it was, it would be a completely different story. But it's not to help poor people, it's to help the rich backers. And again, it goes back to whatever you want to call Trump. His style is if you're in a powerful position and you kiss his rear end, he's going to support you. He's going to carry out policies that are in your best interest, that are in your best interest. And so if a poor person goes up to Trump and says, I think you're a fantastic president, I love you, that's worth 2 units of dopamine. But if a rich person, a billionaire says it, it's worth 100 hits of dopamine. And that's why at his inauguration, who was he surrounded with? The poor folks who voted for him? No, they were in some convention hall down the street. He was surrounded by the billionaires. And he's
Pat,
making
hold,
it
hold on one
crystal
second.
clear what his priorities are.
You're right. Let me jump into the mosh pit here. Pat,
Yes.
wrong. I missed your question there. Hold on. They're boomers. Let me tell you, where are boomers?
Yeah.
I love music. What's wrong with music? And what's wrong with living through things, Jeremiah? You think just because you have no experience, you're an expert? Doesn't work that way. You learn from getting it up the tuchus many, many times. Okay. It's really very simple. See Wyatt Earp, you do. No, we're so wrong, David. Number one, I can sing the theme song of Wyatt Earp. I love Wyatt Earp. That's why it's there. Did you know David Wyatt Earp took the view that if you brought your guns into town, you got to give your guns to Wyatt Earp? Wyatt Earp played it by the rules. Wyatt Earp said, you go to jail, the judge deals with you. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his name and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Don't hang up on anybody, please. Let me pull that out of me. So,
Number of viewers always goes down when we start singing work. Oh my God.
so don't run, please don't run. Hang in with us for a bit. So that's where Wyatt Earp was. I really do like this. It's let me tell you, you can't be a boomer unless you're and it's retarded. It's so sad. I don't mind. You want to call us names, you want to call people names, have a good time. It doesn't prove anything. What we do is we present facts. Then we say this is what our opinions are based on, the facts that we have found and that we've looked into and our experience. What's wrong with that? That comes up and says, we've had this happen. This has happened before. The history rhymes, man. You can't get away from it. That's why I could see years ago, nothing genius, but it was obvious we were going to start falling apart. You could just see this whole breaking apart all around the world. Once again, I didn't think it was going to be breaking us apart. Hi, Chaparral. Not a bad show, Toto. Let me tell you something. What you guys see is I love the Cowboys stuff. This is what we grew up on. That's what's so funny. Okay, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I think there's going to be issues with assault rifles and stuff. We'll get to that later. Whatever you call assault rifles. Bottom line is, I still love the Cowboy shows. And every one of these shows, the first time it shows up, somebody dies. Out comes the gun. They kiss the gun. I love my gun. There's always a story about how great the gun is. We grew up with guns, pow, 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 shooting everybody. And maybe it's all our fault. I don't know. But it's so, yeah, leave Wyatt alone. I love Wyatt. I also love the Rifleman. I also love the Yancey Derringer. I love Sky King, Roy Rogers,
Oh,
and
Sky
Dale
King.
Evans.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
That's
and Roy and Dale. I mean, that's happening. We're not no jive. You're talking not just boomers. It's America. Okay,
Lone
we're still
Ranger.
living American culture. That's what you guys don't understand. We are true American culture because we're going to die one day, and you're just going to be reading about this stuff. So at least, hey, we're telling you what's happening while we're still living, and we're laying on you now, and that's why I love you guys. You don't even know the time, though. Jeremiah, how can you know the time we were raised? Did you go back in time? Did H.G. Wells give you a time travel machine? Come on. So it's just, wow. No, Chuck, I love Chuck, the rifleman. He was great. He took him with no jive, okay? That was one tough gun show. They just, with the rifle. Sam Peckinpah did some directing on those. You ever seen the Wild Bunch guys? Watch the Wild Bunch. We're talking boomer time. It was nasty. It was The Boys on Amazon Prime for the boys in the 60s.
Mm.
Watch the Wild. That's how outrageous the boys is show Prime. Just outrageous. It's just incredible movie. Okay, we got to get back into this. It's just, let me tell you, but what's wrong divided? We always stuck with, we went by with each other. We did our thing. We have gun, will travel. I'm with that. The Paladin bringing in the card, have gun, will travel. I love our commentators. You guys are great. Okay. So you see, it doesn't matter if you're MAGA, you like Trump, you don't like Trump, you love Biden, you don't like Biden, you like this, you don't like that. We love you because America's so great, and we can talk like this. And I know you didn't turn in for a culture show, a boomer culture show, but thanks, you got me started, and we'll be rolling. You got Dr. V grinning. He hasn't stopped grinning. I've seen that face for a while, for like the last 10 minutes, looking at
Next
some of this
week.
stuff.
Don't forget to tell them about next week.
Well, we have to tell them, look, we're not going to be here Thursday. Something came up with me too. Wednesday. We're not going to be here Wednesday. And I'm going to try to do something on next Sunday where I'm coming up and I'm meeting with Dr. V. We're going to have lunch and that party and everything. But if I don't get there by 11, I'm going to try to do it on the phone, have my wife drive the car, and then call into Dr. V and see if we can do it on the phone. And I'm driving. Hopefully I won't get seasick. And then I'll Dr. V there and go in and out, whatever. We'll try to do what we can do. So we're shooting for that next Sunday. The technologically unimpressive me and Dr. V. But we'll do our best, okay? And that's what we're shooting for, okay? So there we are. Let's see the Three Dog Night. They were okay. Leo should leave NATO. Why, investor, why should we leave NATO and join forces with Russia? Investor, come on. Come on. We're still kind of a democracy, aren't we? Why do we want to join forces with a country that just kills, that invades, that destroys? I mean, you act like it's like, hey, in 1938, let me give you some history, guys. Guys, gender neutral, in 1938, okay, the Hitler was moving into Czechoslovakia. And Chamberlain, the prime minister of Britain, flew over and said, I'll make you a deal. You stop here and we're all happy. You can take this piece that you want to take, or you've taken it. It's all yours, Adolf. And they had a good meal and it worked out. It was in Munich. It worked out. It was great. It was tremendous. He flies back. Peace now. Peace. Does that sound like Ukraine? Peace. We're going to have peace. Ukraine. Mm-hmm. So he goes back and he says, we've done it. And Hitler said, thank you. What a deal. But I'm not just going to take this. I'm going to take this and this and this. Now, do I think that Putin will be that blatant after the first move? I think he's got an issue. He's not able to right now. He doesn't have the army to really do a whole bunch of stuff if people are going to stand up to him. And I think he wants to regenerate people and start getting people. He wants kids in Russia. He wants people. He needs population. He's lost hundreds of thousands. He needs money. He needs everything. It's perfect for him to be able to pull out, say, I won. My boy Trump covered me. But is that going to be our friend? And then we leave Europe to just fall? You know how many things we buy and we trade with Europe? They love us, or they did. Like I said, I'm looking for who was it? Wait a second. Joe, I wanted you to keep it. I'm going to keep looking to this one issue. I want to see all these people who say we should be with Russia. This is what I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Next summer, you want to go to Italy? You want to go to Great Britain? You want to go to Spain, Germany, or you want to go to Moscow and have a good time on the Moscow River? And when the KGB comes and picks you up and says, "Oh, you're doing something wrong. We're sending you up here to the cold lands." Okay, come on. All those Americans he stole. How about we talk about the kids they stole from Ukraine? He stole Americans, put them in jail, did things like that. Biden did some good trades there. Nobody ever gave him credit for that. He got Americans out, but this was Putin doing this over years. That's going to be our friend? Do you guys forget it's not ally? Take the word ally and throw it out. It's friend. You need friends to survive. I keep hanging on this. He's the psychiatrist. I'm not, but I know it because I'm old. I need my friends. I need you guys. I need my family. You just got to feel it to survive. And if you just throw it all away, am I wrong, Joe? If you just throw it all away, your life becomes worthless, and then you just sit there and go, "Oh, I don't like anybody," and you start doing what Trump does and what people are enabling him to do. And that's what's going on. Joe, am I wrong?
You're not wrong, and you're absolutely right that human beings need other human beings. That's how we survived as a species, by banding together. We're able to do things that we couldn't do by ourselves. We're able to more successfully hunt larger animals, bring the food back to the tribe, and share the food.
Giovanni, go
So,
ahead.
I mean, we really need to get back to the idea that we are a community. And I don't care if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever, but all cultures, all moral stances have the notion of the golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. That's all. And ask yourself, is when you look at what someone is doing, ask yourself, is that how you want to be treated? When you look at how you treat other people, you ask yourself, would you want that kind of treatment to me? So when we go to Greenland and say, we're going to take over Greenland, when we go to Canada and say, we're going to take over Canada, do you want other countries saying, we want to take over the United States? If the
John
answer
just
is
said to
no,
you, Joe. John just said to you, Joe,
what did he
those
say?
days are over. Get over it,
Get
Joe. He
over it.
just said that. That's what
So
John
there's
just
no more
told you.
golden rule. We don't believe in the golden rule anymore. Then it's, as a species, we're in serious trouble then if we don't follow that moral principle.
Get over it, Joe.
Well,
Get over it.
then the country and the world is in a much bigger shape. Has a much bigger problem than I even believe. Now, I am an
Investor
eternal
old is
optimist,
good.
and I do
Go ahead.
believe that people, they have one tendency to look out for their own interests, even if it means taking advantage of someone else.
It's
I think
great all the
we
time,
have
John.
that in our genes, but we also
Wrong
have our
investor.
genes of working together
Russia
as a
is the
community.
enemy of us.
And
I'm
that's
sorry.
why, that's the better angels that we have that we need to look to. And my concern with Trump is he's appealing not to our better angels, but to that part of us that wants to take what we can, just look out for our own personal interests, and that's going to come back to bite us in the rear end. And living as long as we have, we can see that the arc eventually comes back to bite you in the rear end, and that's what I'm concerned about for this country.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm looking at these comments. David, come on. Yeah, let's go. I'm trying to catch these quickly because I'm
I
gonna
mean,
jump into the mosh.
let me ask the
I'm
people
gonna
up here.
jump into the mosh pit. Jeremiah, we only paid 100 million, and chunks of it came back to our munitions companies and put
Billion,
the money in.
100
Yes,
billion.
they are the bad guy. Investor, I'm here, guys. Come after me. Investor, we don't do lots of deals with Russian companies. We cut them off. Tucker Carlson. I like the name, Tucker Carlson. What can I tell you? Axe, I don't understand why it can't be the breadbasket of Russia. It wasn't for hundreds of years. And when it was, Russia came in and took it over. Ukraine was its own course, was its own country for years. Not for years. New Russia, only 100 million. That's about what it was,
It's
David.
120
They broke
billion,
it down.
120 billion.
Right. They broke it down and
Yeah.
chunks of it came back to America. And when we're talking about the Republicans wanting to have a $4 trillion increase in the deficit, right? That's millions, hundreds of millions, billions, hundreds of billions, then trillions. You're worried about the potential of 20 million? Come on, guys. We want the first. I'm going to say these two guys. I don't know. Brittany Griner. We got a lot more than Brittany Griner, Jeremiah. We got a whole lot of people on some real trades. Okay, you can't. Trump derangement, Mona, saying we have
So we
Trump
agree with
derangement
John.
syndrome is wrong. We say what we believe. I haven't been hitting Trump that much. If the only way you can respond is with emotion and saying we're out of it, then that's a bad response. Say what's bad. What's bad? What's bad about what we're saying? Give us facts, David. He is accounted for everyone. David, Brett Baer, did you see the Brett Baer interview yesterday? Obviously not. Brett Baer asked him about those numbers, popped them on each one. And Zelensky said, here's where you can find this. Here's where you can find this. It's all out there, totally transparent. And that's the real. That's the real. Okay? So that's where we are. Zelensky ain't rich. Trump is the one who's getting rich. Did you buy a Trump meme, guys? I wonder if you did. And just how many memes did you buy to make Trump even richer than he is right now? Big nose, communism. Hey, Prairie Wolf, you're missing it. The USSR is coming back to America. Okay? And we both have big noses. And my grandfather had a big nose. We all got, I ain't worried about nose. You got to breathe. If you got some nose, you got it. Zelensky was totally transparent. Toto, you did not see the interview. Go on to Fox News. I watch Fox News. Go on to Fox News. Look up Brett Baer interview with Zelensky. Look at the questions. It's right there. Right, Mike? All these goose pay all that money. Even Melania gets a chunk of it. I mean, they're these meme coins, whatever they want to call them. So it's just really sad. And real TDS again, look. I'm nothing poor fool about me, but I love this. This is great. When I just see so many people just can't say much. Yes, Groucho. Let me tell you, Groucho Marx was one of the greatest comedians of all time.
You're a Marxist, I know.
He was, yeah, that's what I am. That people say called me. Who did they call me? They called me Groucho Marxist. Remember, somebody called me Groucho Marxist once. Ding dong, the rich is dead. No, it really isn't true. We have teched ourselves. No, Brandy possibly, but we've also set it up in such a way that there's not going to be people. There's not going to be a chance for people to get jobs because we're not going to teach them to have other jobs. They're just cutting. It's just cut. Y'all see Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank on there? Just cut. He loved it. He was wearing this fancy robe a couple of nights ago on CNN. A few nights ago, can't fancy. Must have made some big moves on those cuts. Cuts. Today, he says, that's what we do. We just cut away. Really? Let me ask you something, guys. I'm going to hear something. I know the answers I'm going to hear. It's just going to make me. They have destroyed our national security. You don't think Trump, I haven't gotten into this. You don't think Trump has destroyed our national security? You're sleeping. They got rid of a whole bunch of CIA people. We don't even know how many. They got rid of a whole bunch. They're moving all these FBI people around. A lot of them are going to lose jobs, cleaning things out. And there's no interest in even looking at Russia or other things. It's going to be, we're fine because President Trump is here. So we have no national. You don't think that they're embedding stuff on our computers now with all these people who got fired? We don't know anything. They're trying to hire our spies away. They're trying to hire away all these people who are getting fired. Think about all the talent we are putting on the market for people who used to be our adversaries. Think how dumb this is. And our president went to an Ivy College or a university, went to Wharton, right?
You went to
and
Penn.
our vice
That's
president,
my school. You went to
right? And our vice president went to Yale. I don't care. How dumb can they be? They are so dumb, destroying the economy. I'm telling you, 6, 8, 10 months from now, guys, I want you to call me TDS then. You won't be because you'll be the ones who are TDS. It's going to be crazy. Jeremiah, right. We've been due for it, but we haven't had it. That says something about some presidents who had a good hand in doing good things in America, right? A decade, 10 years. That means, what was it? 6 years of a Democratic president, 4 years of a Republican, and it
Since
worked. See,
2008.
everything was good.
Since
What?
2008, the economy has turned around and has done very well. And it
Who
has
is the Aussie there? Who is the economy's doing pretty good? People aren't going to realize how good we were caring because we're destroying, we're smashing that which you didn't know is really good. Stability is good. People don't realize that. Yeah, you shake things up. Yeah, you crack it. I cracked a lot of eggs, man, and don't tell me they're up there. I understand. Bottom, don't you laugh, Dr. V. Don't you laugh about that joke. He could tell you so much about me, I'd be in real trouble. I mean, real trouble. If Putin got a hold of Dr. V and said, tell me
Oh,
stories
I say
about him.
everything, everything. He doesn't even have to threaten me. I'll just tell him.
53 years. Is this a friend? He's already turning me over. I mean, it's like
You'll
without a
be in
fight.
trouble.
I mean, come on, at least let him take a tooth or something first.
No.
Aussie lady, we like you too. We
No
got big
tooth.
noses.
No, no.
A nose is a nose. Let me tell you the difference between our big noses is since we're not actors, we don't have to get them fixed. Actors, they get this done, they get this done, they get this done. We look like what we look like. So we're authentic. And we come in anyway. You think I could make this look better? You think he could make that look better? We're lucky we have two women who love us or act like they love us and stay with us with these. Look at these mugs. We know what we got. We got to look in the mirror every day, guys. And please give us thumbs up. Give us some hearts. Please subscribe to Just an American Citizen. Look at the stuff there. Please subscribe to Dr. V. Joe Talks. Remember, we're not here next Wednesday, Sunday. We're going to try to do a phone heavy
Oh,
technological
get up
move.
here early so we can do it
I'm
together.
trying. Look, it's not
Come
just
on, just get up
me.
here early.
I'm not the driver. When the Uber driver wakes up and she decides we're going, we're going. Okay. If I was the driver, it'd be different. I see these
I'll have
people, they're
some breakfast
driving, they're
for you.
talking, they're crazy. They're driving, they're talking. Oh, let me tell you, David, if you did dislike, it's too bad. Then leave if you don't like it. I'm sorry. But tell me the lies we're spreading, David. Give me, because you made it in plural. I'm waiting for David Baker. He gave us a thumbs down. I'm kind of bummed about it.
Oh,
But tell
yikes.
me the lies, David. Give me the lies. Thank you, Aussie lady. You see what it is. Eddie, you're right. Who cares? But
Spartacus, you have to
but
teach
we,
us how to do a call-in show. That would be fun.
uh, it really would be. And the bummer, right? And the boomerites. And the bummer about all the Karen is, I'm not Karen. Are you Karen?
No.
No, I don't think so. I'm not Lola either. LOLA. So you look that one up. They'll love that. Great song with a little shh in there. But I don't see the lies. Here's David. Biden was doing good for one. Well, that's not a lie. We had a pretty good economy, David. What are you saying? Okay. He stood up for Israel. You may not like that. He stood up for Israel. He took on Russia and Ukraine. That's pretty good, my friend. Sorry. Um, right on, John. You can't help us out. We're trying to help you out, but you're a good guy. John, bring your friends on, will you? Yeah, Pam Bondi. John, we're running to you if we get in trouble. You're going to have to help us out, okay? Price freeze didn't work. I also remember whip inflation now, those pins that Ford
Yeah,
wore, never works. When
yeah.
it starts going up, it starts going up. And if inflation's going to keep going up, you can't stop it. But it was kind of happening. But now when you throw a grenade on it by laying people off, other companies cut them off, people lose jobs, tariffs, increase costs, it just makes inflation go up while people are going down. And what's going to happen with Medicaid? If they pass this bill, this $4 trillion bill they want to add to, remember, no matter what they tell you, okay, just because the speaker says he speaks to God through the Bible or whatever, I respect them. I respect them for that. But that has nothing to do with what we're doing here. And he is not telling you the truth if he says that they're not trying to raise it $4 trillion, the debt or the deficit. I'm sorry, the debt, $4 trillion. That's a lot. It's going to make it what, 8? It's 4 plus 4 plus 4 equal 8. I think so. That's old American math back when people could add and you didn't need a calculator. You kind of used your fingers. I remember the teachers would tell us, you can't use your fingers. I'd come to the desk. I gotta add it up. I gotta add it up. It was crazy. We didn't have those are our calculators right there. So that's what that is, man. And it just kind of builds and builds and builds and builds. Let me tell you something, OG. He is my wife's boyfriend. She loves him. She loves Joe. How can you not love Joe? Okay, we're there. jump with. Let me tell you one thing that's great about him. He doesn't mind because he knows I normally do a lot of talking. He just sits there and smiles. He is like the greatest smiler. He's smart as can be. And that's why he's so smart, because he listens and he smiles when he's listening. So he gets stuff out of you. And he's so smart. It just channels through and it comes out just right. And am I wrong?
Not at all. And how can you not love this guy? He's pure gold. It's so much fun. So much fun. And
I'll tell
and
you this. I
and
love you.
smart on top of it. When you go back and listen to what he says, he turns out to be right. That's what cracks me up. True. What can I say?
Thank you. I love you. You're great. And we love our group here. This is just such a great group. I'll tell you that. Let me say, and I'm not going to call it the album of the week, but I'm going back because I just want to throw in, because everything that's going on now is reverting back to what it used to be in America. We're going to have no regulation on banks. Banks are pretty cool. They don't have all the major loans. I mean, they have a lot of them. But wait till you see the Black Rocks. I'm just using it as a generic name of the world all come out, and we're going to have some guys get hurt. We have all this. We're evolving backwards, and I just have to just note to everybody: there's a group called Devo. It's
Oh,
the
yeah,
evolution. Okay, one of the greatest albums of all time. Are we not men? We are Devo, and we are
great.
evolving back. And that's what they talk about here. Uncontrollable urge. Is uncontrollable urge on here? We are men, we are Devo. Uncontrollable urge. I don't know if it's on this one or the other one, but that's another thing, because people in this country now just have uncontrollable urges, and you got it, and then you just do it instead of sitting back and thinking and looking into it and saying, what should we do? Man, when I was young, I jumped through doors, I jumped through windows, I understand. And then it was, wow, what happened? And you just got to wake up and see this kind of stuff. Mike, right on, Mike. Right on, Mike. Okay, the Stones loved their version of Satisfaction. Loved
Satisfaction.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Loved
that's
it.
great. Yep, yep.
Oh, gee, you're
You
there
can see
too.
that on YouTube. Look it
John,
up on YouTube. It's great.
we haven't derailed, John. Understand, when we're talking boomers, so many of us, music was our social media. It's like really hard to understand. We didn't have social media. We didn't have phones. The phone was plugged into the wall at home, and mom and dad were on it. You said, can I have the phone? Can I call somebody, please? Can I call somebody, please? I'm telling you, we're living culture. We're living history. You didn't have it. So what you had was music. And then when the Beatles came, blew it up. Elvis, everything was before, but the Beatles came, blew it up. The British invasion, everything came. And it's just like music becomes a part of your life. So like when I see things, I hear songs in my head sometimes. And I just see it. I don't see video games. I hear songs. Isn't that better? And that's what we always talk about. Sit back, listen to music, put on the headphones, man. There's nothing better. It takes your mind off the jive. It takes the emotion down. Sometimes it heightens the emotion, but then it takes you down. You walk away. You do some air guitar. You play whatever music. Spartacus gives me trouble. He's a hip hop fan. I just am not. I don't know hip hop. It's okay, but I love you for it. Because if you like music, you're my man or my woman, whatever. Because music is us. It's us. And so you should take it and run with it. So when I talk about music, it just reminds me of things, just reminds me of things. So I do it. Devo, de-evolution. We're not devolving back to 1938. Of course we are. This is Czechoslovakia. This is surrender. This is surrender by the Trump administration. I'm saying it head on, babe. This is surrender. Dr. V, what are you saying?
It, my thinking is that a lot of what Trump is doing is for dramatic effect. And the
Doesn't matter.
actual execution is going to be a lot different than what he says. That he's doing it for ratings, he's doing it for good TV. He thinks he's on some sort of reality show, and the more viewers he gets, the more he wins. I think to understand Trump, you need to understand the WWE. You need to understand that a lot of this, where they're flying through the air, they're crashing through card tables and things like that, is for dramatic effect to get people energized, to get people emotional. But I still like to think that there's cooler heads that are going to sit down and really discuss things and come up with decent solutions. So I'm still optimistic that things are going to turn around, that He just wants to do things to get viewers, to get likes, to get particularly people in power to give him that dopamine
We
kick
like
that
likes.
they like him.
Funk. I love funk. Funkadelic was great. Listen, Funkadelic. Listen. I disagree with you
Okay.
in this way. In this way, you are 100% correct. He wants to make a TV land, everything TV land.
Yes.
You're 100% correct. Okay. But I disagree with where you think that's his main motivation. I think that's just the icing on the cake.
Mm.
I think his motivation is focused on bringing Putin back into the world, into having authoritarian leaders around the world, into crushing things. He is taking a media and throwing it all over. I mean, you saw that goof, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, like he's some sartorial expert yelling at Zelensky about the way he dressed. Mr. Marjorie Taylor Greene or Mr. I love you, or whatever. He's not his wife or husband, but their girlfriend. You see, he looked horrible. He didn't look that good. Thinks he's got some fancy socks, but he comes in and does this. It's just, this is what they want. They want control, they want power, and they just want to take it over and they want to end it. They're going against all the courts. We've talked about that. I had a major thing on the courts when we did live stream last Sunday. Please look at that. Big time. It's a focus, Joe. It's the
No,
2025, it's
and
the
I agree with you.
2025 agenda.
Yeah,
And
yes,
there and
yes,
then he's basically said to his guys,
yeah.
do what you want to do, and I'm going to run around and paint whatever I want to paint. And it's working perfectly for him, but it isn't, because he's killing the economy and he is killing our national security, and it's not going to work. Go ahead.
What I suspect is that there are people behind him who he trusts to blow smoke up his rear end that do have that kind of agenda that you pointed out. And you're right, they outlined it very
Mike, I'm waiting for
specifically in
Russians.
2025 when Trump was on the campaign trail. He said, "I never read the darn thing." I believe that, but there
No,
are
no, he
people
did.
but
He
there are
knew
people
what it
behind the
was.
scenes. There are people behind the scenes who did read it,
Right.
and they're the ones that
Who
I'm
worked
worried
for
about in
him.
his administration that could be making some of
Of
these really
course.
bad decisions. On the other hand, I think there are people in his administration that understand that's a bunch of crap and that they do have the country's best interests at heart. And there's going to be a competition among the MAGA folks, which faction is going to win. So I think there's going to be fighting from within of people who are reasonably sane and rational, who love this country, who want to see the country get better, who do want to reduce the deficit, who do care about people, and there's other people who are just in it for what they can get out of it. And
They had no election,
Trump
Mike.
has no real moral compass here. He's into what's going to make him feel better and feel better at that time, not long term better, but what's going to make him
No,
feel better at
no,
that time.
no, I know. He knows what he wants. So it's short term to make the long term. The long term is to make the money, to build the hotels, to make the cash. He's been doing it. The long term is to destroy the democracies around the world, which stop him, because these countries like the United States have, at least still do, the rule of law. And the rule of law is the only thing that can stop Donald Trump. And he and his boys are running around saying, ignore the judges, ignore the judges. And I get mad at the Supreme Court. I've been hard on the Supreme Court, real hard. I think they're just, a lot of them are just puppets for Trump. That's how I feel. I was up front on that. I'm not going to say any names. It's all there. The two I'm really sick about. But you got that. But I believe in the system, and you got the rule of law. And now he's trying to take the rule of law with Eric Adams and say it's who you know, not what you know. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not, but if you know somebody, you can get it. That's the only thing that's stopping him right now. And he's intent on bringing that down. And as he brings that down, they're no longer looking at election, and they're no looking at Russian election stuff with us. All of this, it's a total tear out. And this is what he wants. And the TV is to keep everybody amused so they can go, wow, he's a narcissist. Wow, he's this. Look at him. I don't look at him. I'm looking at what's going on underneath it. I could be wrong on some. Why am I screaming tag? Because this guy is destroying the United States economy, destroying the rule of law, and destroying our national security. And we don't see it yet because you haven't lived through what it was before and where it's going. The judiciary doesn't defy the executive. The judiciary puts out opinions. The executive then decides whether or not he's going to listen. He should listen. He should listen. We're not talking about Kamala here, Brandon. We're talking about our thing and what we see going on now. And whether you like Trump or not, we say right on you like him. But here we go on a guy. I'm not going to die in war. I hope not, my friend. America hasn't had to be in one. Ukraine just taking it on the chin for us, right? I mean, isn't that easy? Very simple. Um, Bankroll, Kevin. Trump is the bankroll. Everything these people that back Trump sell are Trump stuff, or it's something I know Trump. I'm missing. Wow, you're really missing that one. Trump is no more a politician. He's a politician like all the rest. We used to grow up with them. They all get rich. They do this. They use the law, but nobody used it like this. And nobody did it to just destroy everything just to be able to pull that stuff in. Wrong, Prairie Wolf, because it's not Ukraine. It's America. It's American values. It's American beliefs. That's what it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's creative. Tell me what the destruction's creative. Show me what it is creative. Right, because it's creative destruction. What is it creative? I'm happy he did, David. Did you vote for him to destroy the economy? Did you vote for him to get rid of our national security? I like this stuff, though. This is it. I say right on, Trump. Come on. He's not a politician. John, this guy is the biggest ripoff artist of all time. Look at how much money he's making. He puts out these coins. We called them souvenir coins growing up. Whatever it is with him and Melania, one and him, he got like how many millions on that? Melania got how many millions on that? Suddenly Melania gets a $40 million book deal and she's from Amazon and she's getting like 70% of it or 60% of it. People don't get those kind of numbers. Come on. This is what's going on. These guys are just sucking in it, putting it away. Come on. That's the real. There ain't no getting around it. I love you too, Prairie Wolf. It ain't no LOL. I have mustache. I'm happy I have a mustache. I'm loud because I've always been loud. You know, in elementary school, not elementary school, in junior high, Mr. Cocky, my wrestling coach always said I was loud. Mark, come on. I go, but it's just the way it is. So they had me calling off stuff sometimes with lacrosse games. But yeah, I've always been loud. I'm loud. I believe. I'm emotional. I love it. You don't think you watch Fox and those guys don't get on TV and go, screaming and yelling and spitting? I'm not spitting. I'm not spitting. Am I spitting, Dr. V?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
All I can tell you is this. I love this. We're at the end. It's been over the hour. I can say this is the greatest group I've ever had. What do you say, Dr. V?
I
We
agree.
love you.
Good
Agree with us or
comments.
not? Right. Please bring your friends next time. We
Jeremiah,
don't
a
care.
lot of
We
good
want to meet
points.
them.
John, a
Right.
lot of good points.
Oh.
Good comments. Good
Oh.
comments.
Just an American citizen. Please subscribe. Joe Talks, I'm sorry, Dr. V Joe Talks. I'm going to be with him. I'm going to try to do some phone. My wife doesn't know yet that I'm
Get
going to
up
ask
here.
her to drive. I'm going to try. We're going to try that at 11. If we have some technical difficulties, I will be there eventually because he's got some food waiting for me. And everybody else going to be playing poker. We're going to be working, me and Dr. V. So I'm there. And thank you all very much. And that's the way it is, Dr. V.
Period.
And we'll see you next Sunday.